So I definitely got stagnant in my last relationship. There's a thing that I've been doing ever since I was a kid, and that is accumulating, categorizing, processing information, and then like coming to conclusions about it. And so for a while, I stopped doing it because all of the information was like, this is toxic. You shouldn't be with this person. And I mean, I kept trying to leave them, but I couldn't. And it's just like, I'll just stop reading that info and I'll just kind of like disengage, and maybe that'll help. Because there's nothing like, ooh, I'm reading an article and I'm like, yeah, this is what's happening right now to me. Oh, it was so, what a hot mess. Anyway, so I'm like, I've been separated from that person for months now, and like coming back to an understanding of myself and who I am and all this stuff. And one of the stuff that's been coming back to me are like my feelings. I was kind of numb there for a little bit. And another thing that's been coming back is, I hate to say creativity because I'm not really like creating anything. It's just this like thing that I do where I take an info and I process it, and then I like I want to get it out there. So anyway, one of the things that I've been doing is I've been watching tarot readings, and so I actually have to do a video on this because it's super fascinating. I have so much to say, but that's not this video. So anyway, this lady, she was doing one of them, and she said in the middle of it, she said, yeah, so if you're in a relationship with somebody and you want to show them, what love looks like. And in my brain immediately went to, yeah, just like love them more. No, what she said was, show them by loving yourself. And I was like, oh, I feel attacked. Because I definitely did have that idea in this past relationship. Like, oh, if I just show him so much love, if I just be as loving as possible and accepting as possible, and like, and I would try and try and try and try, but then he kept doing things that were hurtful and not okay. And then I would be upset about it. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to like show him what real love is. So what she said was, she said, you show people what real love looks like by modeling it towards yourself. And like, I mean, it's true. That's how, we'll get into that trap as parents, we never model what taking care of ourselves looks like. Like we keep putting it in this self-care category, but really it's like we're addressing our foundational needs for living in the world. Like we need sleep, we need food, we need a roof over our head, like clean clothes, we need to like have a shower, just it's not even it's like the basic things we need to function. So if we're constantly like, oh sweetheart, I'm going to show you how to take care of yourself by like constantly taking care of you, when it should also be, sweetheart, I'm going to show you what taking care of yourself looks like. And yeah, so I feel like a lot of parents, I definitely did also have that challenge at one point where I wasn't, I was just constantly like focused on my son. And life pretty much forced me to go, you too, because I was coming apart at the seams. Like it was no longer, this is no longer something that can be put off. It needs to happen. But anyway, so this idea, there's a lot of like new age law of attraction language that'll show up in the tarot readings, which makes sense, because that's kind of like a metaphysical, new agey, whatever kind of practice. So I mean that I get it. And this one guy, he'll talk about how your relationship, like how your relationship with yourself, shows up in the world. So there's an idea, you can come at it from a perspective of, oh, my relationship with myself sets my perception filter and then therefore impacts how I interact in the world. And then he's coming at it from a, law of attraction mindset, which is, you know, your relationship with yourself. The universe is like mirroring that back to you. So it's more, I guess, in a co-creative way versus, you know, maybe like a psychological take on it would be, you know, I have this perception, and this perception filters impacts what information I take in, where I put my focus, how I interpret that information, the conclusions I draw, which reinforces my perception filter. I talked about that before. So anyway, like the law of attraction people have like a different perspective on it. So I said this in another video, but I really like when concepts track in different paradigms, you know, because that means it's something we should pay attention to. And so this idea, you know, in the psychology paradigm, that we've got to love ourselves first. Because how can we love another person if we don't love ourselves? And the reason is, and this is very triggering, this idea is very triggering for victims of abuse. I have been there. I super get it. And the reason it's triggering is you're going, but I never got the love that I needed. How, you know, why do I have to wait to try and love myself? I don't know how to do this. I didn't get it from my parents. Why can't I just be in a relationship where someone else loves me and, you know, get that need met? And so it's, you know, like, none of us want to hear it. But the thing about loving yourself first means that when you approach relationships out in the world, that you're not doing it from a place of fear. You're not doing it from a place of insecurity. You're not doing it from a place of anxiety. And so you can be your authentic self. And therefore, when you are interacting with people and they're not vibing with that, or you're not vibing with them, you're like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So you're not, you know, we're not coming from this like needy, I'll take whatever I can get, you know, energy. Because when we come from that needy, I'll take what I can get energy, we are not, what we can get is not great. You know? And it's not to demonize like the other person, or ourselves. It's just, you know, when you're in that hurt place, in that very anxious, needy mindset, you know, you're gonna roll up on a whole person and they're gonna be like, But another person who's needy is gonna be like, yeah, I need too. Let's meet each other's needs. We're gonna need at each other, need, and it's just, oh guys, that is. It just like reinforces the pain and isolation we feel because we're expecting somebody else to do a thing we're not even doing for ourselves. Which doesn't make sense. You know, like, please meet my needs that I don't even meet for myself. And as another person who is not even inside my brain, like, I want you to know what my needs are better than I do and meet them for me, please. You know, and I've seen people with real resistance to this because, you know, they're like, no, I need this and it's not fair for me to not have it. We kind of get into incel territory, like the incels on the internet, you know, where they're like, I deserve love and I need it and I should get it from other people, and that's the only shit they're focusing on, and then they turn into like these warped people, you know, and their lives are painful. So it's super interesting to see like the psychology perspective of that, and then like, you know, a more new agey kind of law of attraction mindset about it. I'm trying to remember what we used to call it before law of attraction, because when I was a kid, law of attraction wasn't a thing yet, and it was called something else. I hate that phrase just in general, but that's the one that you know, we all know right now. So anyway, yes, it's annoying that the answer is that it's got to be us first, because we just want to be happy. We want to be healed. We want to move on. It's like, why can't I just be broken with another person and we come together and we're whole together, and like, can we do this, please? You know, I just want to be happy. And the thing is that might theoretically be possible, but in order for it to be possible, we would have to not be coming from a place of fear and anxiety and insecurity and like and like those things aren't compatible. We're expecting people to meet needs that our parents should have met so that we can meet them for ourselves, so that we can learn as adults to meet them for ourselves. And it's just not possible not and have the relationships that we want. If we stay in those relationships, we're usually struggling. We're not happy. We want it to be different. We're trying to change it. We're trying to change another person. It's a whole lot of like unintentional manipulating and control paradigms. And we're just adding to the stuff we got to heal from. I've said this before, but none of us want to stop living, want to stop interacting with people. We don't want to stop, and just be like, okay, I'm going to focus on healing now. So we just like be jumping right back into relationships, but then we're just adding more stuff to the stuff we got to heal from, because we can't be healthfully in those relationships. We can't interact with people in a healthy way, because when fear and anxiety and insecurity and scarcity and loss, fear is driving us, we start doing stuff, to protect ourselves or maintain security, and it's usually at somebody else's expense because we're not managing our own emotional state. Like, it's a hot mess. Anyway, I just thought I would drop that in case anybody didn't hear that, and I'll talk to you next time.